I drafted 5 questions, 3 which were quite specific and 2 generic. So when they were getting the slips, they would fill out something in the slips.
Questions asking the residents of Newtown, the new housing area.
Yeah.
What were you asking?
So basically asking, what can we do for you? What as a church and a community can we do? What developments could we make? What can they bring to us? Because it's not going to always work if we're just saying, what are we going to do for you? What can you do and bring to the table as well?
And were you asking specifically the new housing, or did you go beyond that?
So we started off obviously specifically the new housing. There was some areas, some people that were reached out to extend that, which we thought kind of their thoughts would be quite beneficial as well. So we've done that in specific areas as well. But one of the big things within the survey was we had to pick, I thought it's really strong that we had to pick a motto. And the motto is Driver District are here for you. Now we've got 2 big banners outside Newtown and St Boswells Church as well. So that's been really bold. It's a big bold statement to say, and like people have approached like myself and Sheila within the local shops or out walking, that just to talk and just to kind of, we're there to listen.
So how do you go about a listening project like that? I mean, you've got these 5 questions that you put down, you get printed, and you pop through people's letterboxes. Tell us more.
So we're quite lucky here. They do a newsletter run every quarter, and I think it's more than every quarter actually, but we'll go with every quarter. And I thought that would be the perfect ideal situation to put the slips alongside them, not in them, as I did say, because I don't want that we popped in and you lose them, so to go along with them. But what did happen, they went inside them, and when they got posted round, people read them and they dispose of them, or they read them, put them to the side and lose them. Now, because that letter was in the kind of slip was within the thing, it was lost. And so we decided to contact the printers again, get them all reprinted, and we spent an evening, well 3 evenings, going out posting them to these houses to make sure they get handed to someone's hand. And getting a quick chat with them, and then what we're asking of them, just giving them basically a bit of gossip to you, kind of a bit of chat.
You seem pretty good in terms of doing these social things, Greg. How did it feel doing that?
I enjoy a good blather. I do enjoy a good chat, but the kind of knocking on folks' door is not my comfort. It's not my forte, I should say. But kind of once you got past the third house, you were all right. I knew quite a lot of people up there from school days, just growing up. A lot of people there don't want to be there, and that's kind of, they've been put their social housing. So these newsletters, you were pumping them to the doors, saying, what can we do to make this place a better place for you and a better community to work within? So there were many ways we could try and sell it, and I think kind of what helped us and it benefited us in that way as well.
And replies, tell us about, I mean, obviously when people speak to me about new housing, I've got to be honest and sort of say there's a whole lot of people that will just, you know, as you're describing earlier, put something in the bin or they're not interested. What kind of response did you get?
So I was expecting, honestly, I thought, I'm going to get loads of responses. Great, it's a great letter and everything like that. We got 13 paper responses, and we got quite a lot of responses verbally, which we took a note down, but we've got 13 from going round the new houses. We also put them so we could, with people not being in or not being able to be there when we answer the call, we gave them 3 options to do. So we gave them the option to put it into the local community wing. I put my email address on it, so that I got a couple through that, and the rest were handed through the door or verbally. So there were 3 different ways that they could do it. Well, basically 4 if we can count the verbal. So it's quite interesting how we could kind of get their responses together. And it benefited them going round the houses and just talking to people. Some people couldn't write down on the newsletter, didn't understand it. So opening that door, discussing it, talking about it, and giving that basic time just to kind of process it. I'll come back in half an hour and see what you think. And I'll go back and they've sat and thought about it, and they give you quite a detailed thing to note down your phone.
Yeah.
So I find that quite handy.
Great. And you're telling me that people had some interesting conversations, and people got talking about it around Newtown St Boswells.
Yeah, it was great. It reached out quite a bit, as well as the new housing bit. The people out with new housing asked for some surveys and things like that, so it kind of reached out a wee bit more, and that is quite interesting. It's quite handy. But when we're going round, you could tell neighbours knew neighbours, and they were quite friendly because everybody knew I was coming round. I don't know if it's because it was ring doorbells or just people texting each other.
You had your face on the questionnaire as well, hadn't you? To correctly identify that Greg will be coming, and this is me.
Yeah, so that was a big thing, that you get all these newsletters through the door nowadays, and you're thinking, it says, "Oh, we're back next week to collect it," and we wanted to put a face to the name. My view was that everything that's face to name is political, but we want to do it different. Like, we want to put a face to name to say, "I'm coming round the doors. Don't be alarmed with everything that's going on nowadays. Don't be alarmed. It's my mugshot. I'm coming." And I went round my Church of Scotland lanyard on as well. So, and George had, you could see that he was an elder within the church. So you were very it was clear to see who we were.
And what were the next steps after you did the survey? I know that the Kirk session, I was with you at the Kirk session, and there's many options, but you went on in the summer, and off the back of the listening project, you did something else, didn't you? Yeah,
so off the back of the listening project, people were asking for adult groups, things to do for adults without their kids, and things to do with their kids. And because it was summer, with the local council cutting free school meals and things like that, we thought, what can we do? And people say, "Oh, simply, you could do a holiday club." But it's not that simple, because you need to try and get halls and everything like that, because the kind of church we've got here, in Newtown, there's not a church hall. So we've got the community wing, which is, it was amazing. Got about 20 kids. We'd run over 22 kids. We ran over 4 weeks, 2 days a week, a Tuesday and Thursday, which we provided a hot meal and a cold meal on the days. We got quite a lot of support from local businesses, like Booker's and Down to Earth Fruit Shop as well. And it was great that people came out and helped us with that as well. And we reached. It's more about reaching the vulnerable, reaching the people, the kids that really needed and relied on this food. So that came off the back of the survey, and I've got to say, I've heard an outbit positive feedback, and that's not just because I ran it, but the team we had was just phenomenal. Like, we worked as we had people in the kitchen, we had crafts, I done stories with another local church donated some fake grass, some teddies and everything like that. So, and I went out and bought cars and things that they could play with the time there. We got a ball pit for so it was all age groups as well. So it was quite interesting what we've done.
And going back to doing the listening project, Greg, would you do it again if you're, in terms of training for ministry? Would it make you think about how you engage with mission or where people are at?
Yeah, I would do it again. Do it differently. Hindsight's a great thing, and being able to discuss with yourself and other people on the Zoom calls we've had about new housing developments and surveys and things like that, and the sitting doing the results, looking at the results and collating all the results, that gave you a drive. I could do this again. I could really do this again. See what an impact we could do next time. Because just to say, hindsight's a great thing. And I've also, as I was saying, I've been up to Tyne Valley Parish with Dale London, who's also my formation partner. Sat down with him and his session clerk, and they've now rolled out a listening project for Pathhead and surrounding areas, because they want to reach out to Pathhead a wee bit more. And I was able to support them in that process, give them ideas from what we had and kind of feedback we had received, what could be better. Like one big thing was making sure that giving them an option bit to put their details on to get kind of follow up with them. That's a thing we didn't do, but they've now done, so it's been quite good.
And your training for ministry, how did you feel that doing this helped you in your training?
I've got to say, this helped me with my confidence, being able to, after a third door, it was kind of routine. But it was nice just to a different approach to ministry, and that's what it was, an approach to ministry. And it was nice to connect with people in different ways and help them, just giving them that chat. And some people don't get enough chat, and that kind of, someone we talked to about the survey and some weren't interested about the survey, but you still spent 5-10 minutes with them talking about kind of life and things about football, because we're going round during the Euros times. And it's just giving them to feel that they're wanted, and giving them that first seed is kind of like planting a mustard seed. Things start off small but grow big, and that kind of approach towards Jesus, and hopefully they at one time in their life they come to Jesus.
I think it's a really good thing to do, to say, because it says to your community, we're interested in what you think.
Definitely. And like out in the supermarkets, out in the walking, and member of the church, I've had feedback from the community just saying that it's great that we've outreached and kind of we're wanting to show that we are here for you. So no, it's been great feedback in that as well, so it has been good.
The next step for the Kirk session obviously is that discernment piece, in terms of looking at what has come back in so that we can truly respond to where people are at, and then looking at what we have the capacity to do. So it clearly is a discernment piece that the Kirk session here are going to have to work on, but that's for them to do. And you've enabled them, and I know they were grateful, Greg, for your energy and your coordination with George and with others, thinking about listening and listening to your community. So well done on doing that. Great to see this as part of your training, and all the best for your future studies.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for Presbytery for giving the Dryburgh District the internship.